So, how's everybody doing? Any art shows coming up?
I'm headed back to Oregon after doing the St. Louis Art Fair. And
You're still
spending
driving?
a little time in St. Louis.
When was it? This past weekend?
2 weekends ago.
I'm sorry, it started to rain, so I can't hear you.
No, it was
Hold
2
on.
weekends ago.
There we go, better. I did the St. Louis Art Fair this year. I was invited to be part of the Emerging Artist panel again. And it was a wonderful experience. The show itself, I was concerned that Fiverr didn't get any recognition from the judges. But I guess it didn't matter in the end because I broke all records for sales that I've ever had there, which was just astonishing to me.
Wow.
I was working the moment the show opened. It was a little fun well, I felt like I did a good job with the emerging artists, if only because I had a rocky start. My mirror broke. Oh dear. You know, it just fell off. It's never happened before.
7 years bad luck.
Yeah. And then the box that we plug into seemed to have a short, so I had no electricity, which meant when I had my first sale, I couldn't process the credit card. So I had to be very agile and switch to Venmo and PayPal until such time my neighbor ran a different extension cord to a different box and we were back up and running. So I felt like the emerging artists got a good taste of how agile you need to be. To solve the broken mirror, I was so fortunate that I have an artist friend in St. Louis, and I called her up and said, SOS, my mirror broke. And she moved heaven and earth to find me a mirror and brought it to me immediately. I was so grateful. But that only happens because we are a community and we look out for each other.
Right.
It's important to have good relationships with your fellow artists and to be there to help them. Court Anderson came by and I was struggling to get the leg of my tent up one more notch, and he gave me a hand, which was great, and he checked on me later, which was wonderful. And I hope he had a good show too. Yeah.
Which one was that, Karen?
Say it again, Bonnie.
Which show?
I was the St. Louis.
St. Louis?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was good for you?
It was the best ever.
Yes.
I have this thing about needing empty hangars to be inspired. I have a lot of empty hangars. I don't know what it is about St. Louis, but they want to have my work. They wear it for their social occasions. And I am just astonished. I wish every show was this way, but St. Louis is an example to me of how the art fair is an important part of their community in St. Louis. You know, they ask each other what you bought at the fair this year. You know, they're proud to show their artwork. And this is something I'd like to focus on as a board member for Art in the High Desert, as it's, you know, coming together as a new entity, how to build that relationship with the community. So it's not just a marketplace, but part of their culture. Yeah, he's driving across the country, but so I think about those things.
Well, so did you wear out David at High Desert?
David did a great job. he got us up and running, but he is on to other things.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so we will regroup, and we are regrouping. And it's really stimulating, and it's wonderful to have this group of people to work with on the board.
So do you have any ideas for a new
Do I have any
person?
ideas for what? For what?
To replace David?
Not there yet. Too soon.
Okay.
Yeah, Carla.
Well, you know, Carla's been trying to retire for a while.
I know.
So, you know, she is certainly available to help us, and she is a member of the board. But the whole idea was for her to be able to step down, and I respect that. I think we all found out how consuming the other end of putting on an event like this is. And, you know, got a great group of people to work with.
Hi,
And
come here.
we all have high standards, so we're going to do our best.
Hey. Well, there's no way to explain how much work is involved until you actually get involved.
Yeah. There's a lot of legal paperwork. There's a lot of contracts. There's a lot of planning just with people in the community, permits with the city, permits
Hi.
with the park. Yeah, all of it. Yes. And then, you know,
Here.
convincing the artist to come back. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think perhaps one of the hardest parts was Zap.
Really?
I think that, you know, I think it was a first time, just a lot to navigate. I haven't done it personally, but what I hear is that it just took a lot to do the jury process online. Took a lot. And I'll be very curious to see how we handle it this year.
What? Why did it take?
Well,
where was the
Yeah,
hard-
I don't know. We'll find
I
out.
think it's really easy with Zap.
Okay. Maybe it was choosing the jury, instructing the jury, taking the time to do the process, the jury process. I just think that what I heard from David is that yes, you know, this is such an important part.
Very.
Yeah. So I'm gonna pull off at a rest stop and talk for a few minutes, and I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
They're
Did
much
you-
safer.
Did the
My
judges all
fellows.
get together in one room, or is it at home? On
Yeah, they
computers?
project.
Oh, no, we did it remotely.
Oh, you did it remotely.
Yeah. And I think that's, you know, I just think this whole remote thing takes a lot more brain power than you think.
Well,
Really?
probably has to do with the ability of people to understand the technology.
I think it's about communication. It's different on Zoom than in person.
Yeah.
Exchange
Zoom is
of
easy.
information.
This is easy. Oh, you did it on
But-
Zoom? You communicated on Zoom.
How did the jurying compare to the way I do a mock jury?
You know, I don't know because I couldn't be a part of it. That was the other thing I was really disappointed is as board members, we couldn't figure out a way to participate. And I really wanted to because, you know, I've had other experience with doing Zap jury, and I really wanted to see how this was going to go. So we didn't get that chance. I'd
Well,
like to
that's a
have that.
shame because it would give you a much better feel for it. I find
Oh.
I've done just a ton of jurying on Zap and done it where we've also pulled in Zoom into the whole thing. I
Yeah.
find it to be extremely easy.
Yeah.
Just
Excuse me.
very user-friendly.
Good.
The artists get every possible, you can go back if you've changed your mind and give them
Yeah,
a
but
better
Bonnie-
score.
Bonnie, are
Good.
you talking about monitor or projection?
Monitor. That's what they're doing.
Okay. Well, I will have to ask you, Bonnie, later as we get closer to this whole jury process, is how you can add people to observe the process. And
Well,
I think it
Yep.
was just something we didn't figure out.
just like we're doing though.
Well,
You know,
no,
I mean-
no, it's
No,
not.
it's
You
no.
have to go in on Zap and you have to allocate certain people as
Administrators or something.
administrators, yes,
Yeah.
and then they could oversee the process.
Yeah.
Because
Well-
I juried one of Bill's shows once and he called me up during the process.
Well, what it is you could go in as a non-voting juror.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well,
Isn't
we're
there a
gonna find
silent
out
mode?
about it because I think it'd be very helpful. And the other thing that's on my list this year is that I want to sit down with the board members and have a little, I guess mini workshop about the categories and particularly textiles. In our last show, we had some textile artists that were invited to the show because it was, an invitation before COVID shut us down. And that was fine. That was, we're glad that they accepted the invitation to come. But I think there were at least two of the fiber artists that really shouldn't have been there. And I just like to have a little mini workshop about what the textiles can or can't be.
Yeah.
You should do it with all of the categories.
Yeah.
I agree. I would like for us each from the board to step up and
Bless you.
give information as they know it as their specialty.
Yeah.
Certainly digital art and well, I was talking to somebody who said she applied. Oh, she was one of the artists who has been on this Zoom meeting with Larry. She applied, and the comments that she got back is they thought her work was AI generated, and of course it wasn't. And
Oh,
it's like,
no.
crap. What
That's
do you do?
terrible.
Yeah.
Gonna
What-
get a
what-
lot of that.
What about changing to just 2D and 3D, having two categories?
That'd be
I-
fun. I just
I
want to.
hate that.
Really?
I think a lot of the jurors just don't understand textiles, and I just want to have a little information workshop with the board members so we can instruct our jurors with what we want. And those are just decisions we need to make as a board.
That's the same with jewelry. I would
Yeah.
say the same thing, that jurors don't necessarily understand
Right.
anything about
Right.
jewelry
Yeah, and it's not
because
that
they
I really,
let in buy sell, and it's kind of like it's
Yeah.
so obvious. How can
Well,
you?
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
only obvious to
One-
another jeweler.
Right,
one of the-
exactly.
No, I think
I
it's
had a-
obvious that everyone, to me, because it has a certain mundane look to it. It looks like
Hey, then it could be AI generated images of jewelry.
yeah, I'm not a fan
Well,
of
I had
AI.
a great conversation with one of the teachers at the Fashion Institute in St. Louis, which is, wouldn't it be great if we could do a wearable art show in conjunction with the St. Louis Art Fair? And it started that whole discussion about those people who go to fashion school and graduate with a degree are trained to take their designs to manufacturers. And is there a place in our event for that kind of work? And there's,
no.
my gut reaction is no. If
I-
they design it, but their hands aren't making it,
Right.
it looks too uniform because it's gone to manufacturing. But
Well-
then I think, maybe that's just my opinion.
Well, but if the
agree.
rules of the show are that it has to be made by the artist that's in the booth, when do you go away from that rule, because what you're describing to me, if they design the work and send it off somewhere to have it made, they're not making the work, are they? How is
Well,
that?
They're not. They're not.
they're designing it, they've made the prototypes, it could be even a good design. But I know several textile artists that really employ other people to, manufacture their raincoats, put on the buttons, put on the hardware. I've seen some of them come to shows and they're opening a cardboard box that UPS has delivered and they're taking them out off the hanger with the tags in the clear plastic bag as if they're coming straight from the manufacturing.
So
And
your
that
rules,
really-
Which they probably are.
so your
that-
rules, when you see that happening, what do you do about that with your rules, saying that that's not allowed, right?
I don't know that it's not allowed. That's the point.
See,
Well,
I would
first,
have no problem with
If the
somebody
jury,
else.
if the
putting on
jury has
buttons.
accepted it from the jury images, from the artist's statement on the applications, then I can't say it's not allowed. I
Yeah,
just,
but
no.
in
Here's
a case
the
like that,
difference.
the artist's statement isn't the truth.
Here's the important difference. The thing that puts us one step above all that is that we actually execute the work. Anybody can design anything. Hey, then let me design my pots and get somebody in Thailand to make them and ship them to me. What's the difference?
I think
It's the same
that there
thing.
are gray areas in each discipline of, glass artist. You have to do it with another person. And with the
think it's a gray
textile
area.
arts, you can make the fabric. You don't necessarily have to sew the garments, and because not a lot
Yeah,
of
but you're in the
textile
same
artists can
room.
sew.
You're in the same room as those people. It isn't like you're
Yeah.
sending it out and getting it back. There's a difference.
Right, and
And
the way
doing
that you
some of
write
them.
the way that you write your rules, doesn't that define what the person is allowed to do and not allowed to do? The rules that you write. for
I
this-
think the textile area, I think there's just a lot of questions in my mind about what the jury perceives. There was one artist who used to be on Project Runway, and she left Project Runway. She didn't get to the end, of course, but she showed up at several shows in the Pacific Northwest several years ago. And I looked at her website, and I know she started as, making her work herself, then her mother helped her. But now on her website, you can tell that she is having her product manufactured. And I'm saying, why is she coming to the art fairs? Well, it's because these textile artists need another venue to sell their work.
But that doesn't override the rules of the show. So does your show, as an example,
No, it's not just my show.
do
It's
the
just
homework
not-
to look before the jurors ever see the work? Do you, as the board, look at the work yourself? And if you have questions about whether something is actually made by the artist, do the homework so that the jurors never have to deal with this issue? Because there
Well,
is.
I do believe, Ron, that it was rather difficult to access ZAP this year for us to really scrutinize the pool of applicants. And I don't know if we were just learning how to do it, but it was really difficult. And I'm not sure that we even had full access to look at all of it.
Well, how long of an artist statement do you require to be written? You limit it at 100 or 200 characters?
I'd have to go back and look. I don't remember. I should. But the point is, Ron, I have seen this happen over several years. It's not just our show, it's other shows. And I get really confused why in the textile world, they can put something that's been hand woven and sewn in the same category as commercial fabric or Goodwill sweaters that have been serged together. To me, they're just not equal. They should not be in the same level.
But as Barry was saying, it's the same thing with other mediums, like, for example, ceramics. If you make a mold and you send it off to Thailand or China or wherever, Mexico, to have it made, the artist in the booth is not actually making the work. That's not supposed to be allowed if your rules say that the artist in the booth has to make the work. If you aren't going to use the rule, then the rule has to be thrown out because it's not enforceable.
Well,
Same as jewelry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
There's
think maybe what needs to be added to the textile category is that we would discourage manufactured items.
Oh,
And maybe
Well,
that would take care of it.
That's
No,
too easy of a
that
word.
won't.
That's too soft.
yeah,
that's right.
No,
They're gonna
that's-
violate that like crazy.
that's a
Because-
marshmallow phrase. You
Yeah.
need,
Yeah.
you
Plus, you
need
will
very
demonstrate,
strong wording.
right, plus
Yeah.
you will demonstrate that the show management will not enforce the rules. What you need to do in at least one case, possibly, is have the artist pack up and leave if you can demonstrate that they actually are not making the work, and have them leave to demonstrate to all future people you do enforce your rules. If they're going to try to break the rules, they're going to take a chance that they will incur all those costs to get to the show, but they will not be able to sell at the show. And then to me, that's admirable to the extreme that you are willing to enforce your rules. That's why
And
you
so as we look for a new art fair director, we're going to have somebody who is going to feel comfortable
They
enforcing
have
those.
to,
Well,
they have to
you
have a
know,
backbone.
yeah,
I'd feel
yeah,
comfort-
but you know, you can
I'd have no
enforce it
problem doing that.
before
Me either.
or after the jury. After the jury's over, before you send out the results, you can go over
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
probably be better.
Yeah, I think so too. Anyway, my point is that I look forward to an opportunity to work with our board. And, one of the areas that I would like to educate them about is the textile area, and hear what they have to say. And perhaps we can, rework some of our application rules, and that will be more clearly defined. But I do really question those people who go to fashion school and are trained with a degree, prepared to have their designs manufactured. Maybe there isn't a place for them in the art fairs, but maybe there should be. I just don't know. It's
No,
something to talk to people
Oh,
about.
they
Look.
have their own. They should have their own. And
I
as far
don't
as,
know. I don't know that they do, Barry.
well,
But then
You
if
know,
you
the
open,
old-
then they should
the old
form
text-
like we did. They should form it. Listen, let me put it a different way. We're not billionaires.
Mm-mm.
Are any of us
Nope.
billionaires? So based on something you said, we need other venues too.
Yes, we
Everybody
do.
needs more venues. If you're not making, if you're not making $1 billion a year or $1 million a year, you always need more money. So
Yep.
I need more venues. I mean, you're talking about everybody here. Have your own, have your own your own shows.
Yeah.
and
Well,
my question, Karen, to you would be, are you more concerned and the board of providing a venue for artists to sell their work, or to say to your patrons, this is a show of handmade artwork. Every artist in that booth made what is in that booth. That's how you portray yourself to your corporate sponsors and to your patrons. Which is
And
more
our collect-
important?
yeah.
Yeah.
We want to
Yeah,
have a top-notch show. We do. So we're going to work on it.
couple of things. It's 100 characters for your application.
Okay.
That's bullshit.
That is, it's way too, way too.
It's all right.
No,
I
No,
think
it's
And,
not. It's not.
No, it's not. How do you have them write exactly the kinds of things that they do and how they do it in 100 characters?
It
They
should
can't.
be a
Or you can
minimum
put a, you know
300.
what you can do, and I saw
I don't
another
wanna-
application that
Sorry.
they do 100 statement, and then they put a full artist bio explaining the process next to it. That's the only thing you can add up that to the application. Second of all, one thing.
Juried Art Services lets them use 500 words. And they put it on the center of the page when they're
Yeah,
looking
but
at the
chaos
images.
sucks, to be honest with you.
Hey,
Uh,
Larry,
What?
in the the mock jury, is there a requirement for a certain length of the artist?
What I do is I'll go back to the artist and ask him for something shorter if it fills the box that I've allocated for the text.
Because I'm going to slip my stuff in there, and I'm wondering which one to use, the 100 to 200 or the 500.
Well,
Whatever.
500 won't fit.
Okay, so there's 200.
Yeah.
I would use
mean, no more than 300.
Barry.
Yes,
I would use
Bonnie.
the 100
Yeah.
simply because it's harder to fit the important stuff into a 100. and more shows ask for 100.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think you'd get more value out of it.
I have
You
a
know,
decent 100 one.
I
know,
think the
I'm doing
other
it for the hell of it.
place, the
But-
other place to add the information is in the image, where you can describe what your piece is about.
Yeah, but
And that's
nobody
where
reads that.
Well, that's where I think St. Louis does, and
Well-
that's where you put the additional information.
Actually, you put it in the title of the piece.
Yes.
What does that look like? Explain that one to me.
Because that's what will show up.
Yeah, every piece has a title and that's what shows up. And you can put your individual,
Yeah,
you can put a description of the piece in the title if it fits.
but what if the
All right.
title is like sunrise over the mountains? I mean, that's
Yeah,
the
just
title
call
of the
it-
piece. That's you
Just
know,
call the title number 1.
that's what I do.
I
Vessel
do.
number 1, vessel number 2.
Right,
Ring
exactly.
number 1, ring number 2.
That's because I
Yeah.
don't want to get I don't want to give it a name. Come on.
No, that giving it a name is like what inspired you, and that's bullshit.
Yeah. I don't want to know you sat
Maybe.
under a tree and the squirrel came by and
Right.
it was a sunny day. And
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 you got
honestly, if
hit
you-
on the head by an apple and you invented gravity.
there you go.
Well, and if it-
Although I had to think a couple times about because I was adding my first line was I've done raku pots for 35 years, and Bonnie one time said she didn't want to hear that how
Right.
long you did it. So I kind of like had to I thought about that. I had to take it out unless it's the 500 word or the 300 word one. Then I
I
might.
wouldn't put that in anyway.
Oh,
Well, I'm
because
not.
it's word.
What,
They're
what
gonna
would be
think-
better is to describe what raku is in a few words.
I'm just going to describe what I do.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. To talk
But-
about what raku is, that's like 1,000 words. So I'm not going to do that. 1,000 letters.
But Barry,
So-
you don't want
Bonnie?
to tell them before you even get there that you're an old fart.
Yeah,
Why not?
That's the same thing with mine. I'm
They
not
all
going to
know
say,
I'm an old fart. I don't have to tell them anything.
No,
I'm
they-
like
no,
the
because
old
but
you're
I'm not going to
butcher.
tell them, well, I've made jewelry for 43 years
they don't
because
care.
they're going to start adding numbers up and it's not going to be pretty.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, well, I took that out. So
I mean, they're trying to bring younger people into the shows.
Right.
just-
We don't
I
want to
just
tell
wanted-
them.
I just wanted to mention it to Bonnie because I thought of it after she said that and I modified my thing. But I don't always use it. I'm going to do my 100-letter one, and that's very efficient. It almost is the struggle between making complete sentences versus just,
One
leaving
long
things
sentence.
out, Yeah, right.
Barry,
No.
you'll send it to me and I'll edit it anyway.
No, I don't want to.
No.
No chance. No editing allowed.
Well, and then a
Well-
100 character, are you more interested in telling him describing your work or in telling him that you made the work yourself?
Well, you
I
need
don't
to
need
talk
to tell
about
them
the
I
process.
made my work.
Yeah,
Because
That's a
that's the
given.
implication of applying to an art show.
Because what?
That's the implication when you're applying to an art show is you make it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You don't have to use
Probably
first
not
person.
for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Because if there are buy-sell people applying, they don't care about that. That's not
Right.
something that's going to guide them. And
So,
Well,
if they
yeah,
say
wait
that
a
they
minute.
make it and
Wait
you
a
know
minute.
they're buy-sell, you've got a great grounds to throw them out of the show.
If it's buy sell, they're already
Yes.
they know they're breaking the rules, so they can say what's another lie. So what? That's what I
But
would do.
okay, as the
I'm-
juror, I get
I'm not-
very suspect when people say things like, I use handmade beads with something or other. Okay, do you make those beads? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Because if they don't say they make them, they're not making them. Does anybody want a different subject before we
Yeah.
beat this
Yeah.
one to death?
So the other thing that I would
Yeah,
like
let
our,
Karen talk.
the other thing I would like our board to talk about, and granted, we have a ton of things that we have to get in place again this year, which, and there may not be immediate time to discuss these lofty ideas, but I often think about, is there another model for us as art fair artists? When we did Art in the High Desert, it was during the fire season, and driving over there on Tuesday, the sky was filled with smoke, and we were very concerned about
Yeah.
being outdoors. And we were just so fortunate that the air cleared for the show and then promptly came back in the evening on Sunday. But the whole question is there another way for us to do this? And I've talked to a couple young people, and they are so interested in augmented reality and virtual reality. And I'm thinking, well, is there a way to bring these young minds on board to help us have more than one way for people to get to the art fair? Not only, people could come to the virtual event from far away if they're interested, or people who are handicapped and can't get around the art fair would have a chance to view it. So I think
Just
this
like
is
COVID.
Can I make a suggestion?
That was like COVID.
Yes.
Yeah,
Is
and
to
it
check
didn't
with,
work.
And I
And
and I
nothing
know-
worked.
check
I
with
know
the
it didn't
shows that
work
ran
out.
during COVID to see if any of them give you anything positive from their experience, because I don't think
I am not ready, Ron, I'm not ready to give up on that. It is a component of what we should be adding.
Yeah, but the
think-
only artists that did well were the artists that had their own mailing list.
Yeah, okay, and that's true. And I was probably one of those people. And some of my customers were entertained by going to those virtual art fairs. And I later built on that audience, my own customer list, and had my own events. But I still think, as artists dealing with climate change, we need to get a little savvy with technology and offer another way to come to the art fair.
Okay.
And
I'm
can I-
savvy with technology, and I'm going to tell you what worked and what didn't work. Artisphere had it. They had a really nice, slick brochure of the work, and the money came right to me, and I shipped the piece out. Everybody else used this horrible thing called Eventeni, and they took the money. Actually, it was Wells Fargo, I think, whatever their
Yeah.
unit is that does that. They took the money and they take their cut, and then they gave it to us. We
Mhm.
shipped the pieces and they got the money, and I'm totally opposed to that. So if
Yeah.
anybody wants to do this, that's great as an add-on, but I want it to be direct. I don't need a
Right.
middleman.
I think it should be direct also.
Yeah.
I hated using Eventini or whatever they were called. There
Yeah.
was 2 or 3 of those that were just really tedious to use.
Yeah, the problem with
they're-
that is that there's people like I don't want to name any names, but personally took offense to my comments about how I didn't like it, and and she's still upset, with me because
She's not
I
going to
just
be a
noticed.
juror next week because she's going to be on
Listen, we're
vacation.
not bringing up any names, so don't
That's
say
the
that,
first
Larry.
person I thought of.
Well, thinking about it and actually bringing it up. I mean, listen. We're not idiots. We know what we're doing here. We know who these people are.
Yeah.
We know what we do.
Karen,
And anybody that doesn't think that we don't talk to each other, and sometimes it's like 2 days after the show. I mean, we know what's going on at every show. Come on, you can't put anything over on us because we're concerned.
just
We're professionals.
I'm a little interested intellectually about
Yeah.
a way that we can use technology.
Yeah.
And I think even if we stumble doing it, it would be stimulating for each artist to come up with a piece of technology that represents their work. It could just be making your own little short video and a QR code. We could start with that, or an interview. We can start with that. We need content that we can put online and share.
Yeah.
And I think that just helps build the idea that the art fair is there and that people can participate at a long distance. We can do something
Well,
to start.
First thing
Oscar?
you have to do is perfect the show as it is now.
I love this.
Oh, that
Um,
takes a while. I know, Bonnie.
Yeah. Don't start adding, it's like people
Yeah,
adding more
it-
lines to their work.
no, it's a goal. It's
I have
not
a
for next
suggestion.
year. It's a goal, but I think it's important.
I have a suggestion, but
What?
Oscar wants to speak first. Go ahead, Oscar. He had his
Uh,
hand raised.
One thing that you brought up was the thing of the designer, the kids that go to school.
Yeah.
Then that happens. When I came to the States, I went to school, and the idea was to go to galleries, and then I find the art shows later on. I think that it's a most people in the art show are self-taught, and they don't, as bad as it sounds, as goes in both ways. The people that go academia doesn't like the people from the art shows, self-taught, and the self-taught doesn't have any respect whatsoever to the people who went to academia. That's the
Oscar.
sense I get mostly of the time. Well, wait, before you say anything, that's the way that it feels sometimes when it comes across when you talk to people, and the only thing that you can do is just roll your eyes because you never know.
You'd be surprised
Second,
how many people that do art fairs that have a degree or that have some education.
no,
A
it's
lot.
not a
I'd say
degree
the
in-
majority.
It's not a degree in arts. I know that. I don't. Most of you guys have a degree in something else, but it's not in art.
Not
It's
me.
not
I
design.
have at least a Bachelor of Fine Arts and some master's hours, but it was in ceramics, and here I am a weaver. So go
That's
figure.
common.
Yeah.
That's normal.
That's what I. Okay, so the other thing that you were saying about that this is a thing that one of the reasons why I got out of the groups, it was that you guys are talking this about production the work. I think if the person designed the piece, does the prototype, perfection it, and then at some point becomes like a good seller, and he had the option of mass produce that or to a certain scale. There's nothing wrong in my opinion of that, because that's the same thing basically that I do myself. I take the picture, I calibrate it, test it. When I feel 100% sure, send it to the lab. The lab send me a print back to me. Then the second order another one to make sure it's okay. Then I spot checking here and there. And last time I bring that up, they told me that was mass. What is the it's no mass production was another term that they use all the time for photographers. And you guys
the Costco's bag behind the booth.
basically. So I just don't, you have to be careful when you're talking about that, because every single medium, like you say, has something different. And you
Yeah.
cannot put every same boat, because it's
Right.
it's not
I agree.
fun.
I agree,
And I
Oscar.
think that the painters in particular, and I will say this, a painter can go, as much as you guys painters talk about photographers, a painter can sell a painting for $20,000, $15,000. Even my biggest print, to make that kind of money, I want to sell the image 10 times to make the same amount than a painter. Not only that, is you only did the process to sell $20,000 painting, takes only the same amount of work that it takes to sell a $40 print.
Hey,
So
it's worse with clay. Clay can't get the money.
Yeah, it's kind of, when people talk about that, as you guys in general, people know, I'm not saying just in general to everybody, you guys are no understanding what it takes to do every single medium independently. And
Yeah,
most of people say that.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with you, Oscar. It does. I mean, I think it's something we really have to think about. The other really interesting thing that came up after I talked to a collector who went to our show, her comment was she came to see this show because she is a collector. She recognized people that she's bought from before, but she didn't see new work. And I thought about that, and I realized that we're kind of stuck in this COVID loop of journeying in with images from before
Well,
COVID and needing to have those pieces in the booth and not maybe having enough new work that would tempt the collector who wants to come and see it. So it's kind of a reminder to us as artists how important it is to, yes, we do have to have the work that represents our jury images, but it's also really important to have that new work in the booth for those collectors.
In your case, you're so far away from everybody, in the East. Like for me to go out there is it's a major haul. I think a lot of people feel that way. So you have mostly, I wouldn't say local, but within a certain, few states, as opposed to if it was.
That she's
No.
referring to that. It's not referring to that. It's what I find out. So this from the same conversation was, and David, I think what I'm going to ask that to Mayu is that every year, if you're a photographer, you try to put at least 20% new images into your booth, so it doesn't look like the same as the year before. And when you go out every year, you see the person's doing the same thing, might have a slight variation, but it's the same image over and over and over. That's why you have to move people around in the art show. You cannot keep them the same spot, because then it starts looking like the same thing over and over, the same thing to the customer that comes in there. And quite honest with you, most of the collectors are paying attention to some things, but there are other things that they can care less. But if you don't have something fresh, new, and one of the questions that I got in the last show that I've done year after year, the lady asked me, what are the new pieces you've done since COVID? And I can point out almost 75% of my work was from the recent years since COVID, because I always working on that.
Yeah, I think it's important, Oscar, and I know I've done it with my work, but I was very interested that this collector made that comment. Obviously, she was looking at people that she had seen before, and it was a reminder to me to, just speak to that, to our board and to artists in general, is that, they really do want to see our new ideas.
But can I ask you a question, Oscar? Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Oscar, do you jury with the same images or with the new images?
I vary every year. That's what I test with.
What?
I vary the images every year. They always change one or two every year. That's what I test up my image with Larry.
Yeah. And so
every year.
Please let Frank talk.
Thank you.
Or Frank is being really nice. Okay,
Yeah.
Frank, it's your
For a
turn.
change.
Frank is a nice guy. He's a nice guy.
So, when I attended the mock juries, one of the things that really bothered me a little bit was the emphasis on you have to have a body of work that's coherent and that matches what's in the booth. And that is a problem for somebody who wants to evolve their work. That if you are, how do you maintain with 4 images, how do you maintain continuity and show something that's meaningfully new without confusing the jurors and them saying, well, this isn't coherent. And so there's a push to conservatism in the structure of the jurying.
Right. Plus, I think to add to that, Frank, I think that part of what happens in the jury process is that artists believe that the jurors will recognize their work and they will be judged accordingly, that they will often get back in the show because the work is recognizable.
What more often happens is that you say, as a juror, you say, oh my God, I'm so tired of seeing those same images. We need to give this person a rest. Now,
do you think that's really true of most jurors?
I thought they changed jurors every show.
Yeah, that's the concept of a blind jury, is they don't recognize your work. You're not seeing it.
But if you jury more than one show,
there's no blind jury.
If I'm jurying show A in year 1, show B in year 2, and so on, they're different shows. But if the same person is applying, and I'm seeing, there's one jeweler that I swear I saw his 20 years, this one pair of earrings 20 years ago, and it's not even a good image, but it's in his grouping every single year.
But for example, Bonnie, if you juried 8 shows during the course of a year for 8 different promoters,
Yep.
Don't you recognize a lot of the work that comes up? And do you really jury it any differently when you see it at any of those events when you're jurying it? Or do you tend to judge that same work when it comes up and go, oh, I've seen that before, and you already then have an opinion of what it looks like?
No,
Well, if it's the
because
same year, Ron,
what the show wants may be totally different than the last time I saw their work.
and if it's the same year, Ron, it would be unfair to be bored by it. Whereas
Right.
if it's multiple years, then it's completely fair.
Yeah.
The
I
other thing that-
apologize, I have to leave. I have my first dinner date in like forever with a couple of Potters. So
Oh, no.
yeah.
Wait a minute. Who are these people?
Well, Mr. Kiefer
Okay.
and Eric Strader.
Okay. I was just curious because of where you are. I pretty much know these people. So I was just
Yeah.
curious.
Well,
I
they're
was
coming up
nosy.
for a Potters Guild meeting. So I
It's-
said,
Well,
well, if you're going to be here, you ought to,
It
Yeah.
was really
Where-
good.
Where are you going to
seeing you,
dinner?
Bonnie.
thank you. Brass Ring Beer, Brass Ring Brewing.
We'll have a great time.
Thank
Have a
you.
great time.
Hey, Bonnie, if
Yes.
we go over 20 participants, I'm gonna want to start the mock jury earlier than 4.
That's fine. Oh,
What
I
day
thought it
is
was
it?
3:30.
What,
So
what date
Okay,
are we
well-
doing this?
Next week, Barry, next week.
Next
Yeah,
Tuesday?
but-
A week from
Yeah,
today?
next Tuesday, a week from today.
you can count on me whatever time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
And I'm
Thank you
gonna
all.
get on the road, so I'm gonna say goodbye. I've got another 300 miles today, so I'll see you when I get back in Oregon.
Hey, Karen,
right.
it was great hearing from you and talking
Yeah.
to you. It's great.
Hey,
Good to see you,
Thanks.
Karen.
we'll be back.
The run just drop also.
Yeah, Ron dropped off.
Hey, somebody just sent me money on Zelle.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
Zelle is way, 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 way better than Venmo, which is totally unsecure,
Well, I don't use
which is
that.
part of PayPal.
I
Zelle
use
is
PayPal.
absolutely the best way to send money around. Every bank, it was developed by the banks. Every bank has Zelle.
Yeah, it's a little difficult to use, but when you have the
You
person
can't get
in there
any
for the first
simpler.
time-
What do you mean? It's the simplest. You know their phone
No.
number.
Okay, let's say they send you
No.
money. How do you get the money out of it?
It's in your account.
What
Goes to your
account?
Your bank account.
I'm not linking my bank account to that.
It's already linked to it.
No, they send
No,
it to
it's
your
not.
bank.
I've never signed up for it.
No, it
don't
goes
think-
straight
you
to
don't
your
have-
bank account because it's part of your service in your bank.
I tell you what.
Like when I get money, people say sell to me, it's already featured into my bank account. Which bank you have?
PNC.
Go to
Well, you
your
have-
bank. Go to your bank online,
have-
and there'll be a
because-
thing that says Zelle. Every single
Sell,
bank
but you can only
has it.
see it. You can only see sell in your
But
app
it
for P.
requires me to sign up and I don't want to sign up for it.
Larry, call the bank and talk to a banker on the phone and say, somebody sent me money and how do I get it? And let them explain it to you. And if you don't like what they did, then I don't know what you do.
So Larry, when they send it to you, they send it to your phone number, right? Your
Yeah.
phone.
No, well, it's my email address.
It's phone or email, either or works. So you have the
Okay.
app.
What
You
app?
have the PNC app.
No. I'll
You don't have
never
a
put
PNC
that
app?
on my
You
phone.
don't need it. Just
Oh,
then
this
go to
is a
go to
Zoom meeting and anybody can talk about whatever they want to.
do you ever wait a minute. Do you ever go to your bank account online?
Every day.
Okay, go look and see if the money's in your account.
It can't be because I've never signed up for Zelle.
Doesn't matter. Just go look. Before you say that, go look.
How would I know?
You look
It
at
will
your
show deposit,
bank account
Pending,
and
de-
it says
pending
deposit.
deposits.
Yeah,
It says
there you
deposit.
go.
Yeah, but it's even complicated. They made it so complicated now to go because it's all dual authentication.
That's your fault.
That's funny. Yes, that's funny.
So
It's not a bad thing to sign up for,
Yeah, I know.
You know,
I know.
I got
A lot
Cell
of scammers
Berman.
out there.
I use both of them. He was talking about the jury, but Ron was saying that, but it's like from what I get, it's like it have to be kind of uniform, your jury slides, and I was concerned because I tried to send images that look the same palette, but then I also have in my booth the colorful ones. And I always wonder, like that comment the court date last week about St. Louis affair, they will come around and say, because you only have pale colors in your jury slides, that you cannot show any of your more colorful images, even in the same style.
I don't think that's right. That's not exactly the way it works. I mean, they
That's
came
what you
around.
said,
They come around, but they never bothered me.
but that's you. It's kind of hard for you to do
I
that,
had different
Barry.
work. I had different work.
Yeah, but they all look raccoon.
And yours all look like photographs. So what's,
Yeah, but one
what
is
are you
pale
saying?
photograph. One is, let me put it to you this way. In my
Yeah.
end, that you submit your jury fees with traditional raccoon.
Yes.
And then somebody show up, also have pieces that are naked raccoon.
Yeah, that works.
They tell you you have to take the naked raccoon out because
No, I
that's no way.
disagree. No.
See, it's not there. I
It'd-
just checked
it'd
my
be-
bank account.
Huh?
It's not there.
Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't sign up. You have to call the bank or tell the
Oh,
person to send you the money different.
He paid me through PayPal.
Okay,
That's Venmo.
PayPal and
As long
Venmo
as
is
he
two
doesn't
different.
write how he paid him, it's okay. If
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
as
got
long as you
paid.
get
He got
paid.
money.
he
He
needs to
doesn't
talk to the
Well,
bank.
I mean, when I get paid through PayPal, I use it.
Well, Zelle is strictly bank to bank. So I would use that. When you're using PayPal, you're going through PayPal, a third party, and then it goes to your account. So it's way more secure to do Zelle. You're just skeptical because you've never used it, but I'm telling you,
Right.
it's way better. It's direct.
Way.
Yeah, it'd be like I'll give you the example. When you had party lines, you would call somebody, and there's somebody, there'd be a middle group where you'd have to like navigate through the middle, or get an operator, and they would send you through. That's what PayPal is like. And don't they take? Well, no, they don't take any money.
PayPal takes money, of course they
They
do.
get cut.
PayPal takes it out if you have it.
Yeah,
There you go.
it's the same as like charging a credit card.
Yeah.
Zelle is
Yeah.
free.
Zell's free?
Yeah.
Yeah. Zelle is free.
But it's
Venmo
bank
is
to
free.
bank.
It's bank to bank.
Venmo is free if it's a personal account.
Yeah, so you just keep it like a personal and make sure that the person say paying for services. You're fine.
Consider, Larry, that the bank already has all your information. So you're not giving them anything new that they don't have. You're just checking a box. I want to use Zelle.
Okay. Well, I don't have to check it today.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so back to the jury thing. And goes
Well,
back again to the
Bonnie
same
said
with
it's
the
going to vary from show to show, Oscar. So maybe what you need to do is call the show before you apply and ask them.
I really respect the specification for more shows now more carefully, and most of them are about the same. The only ones that I start to be a little bit different is like and it's more what I see getting into some particular shows more than anything else. Like I went to the photographers in St. Louis affair, and most of them is the traditional look, like with frame on the glass kind of work. That's not me. So that's another reason why I should probably don't apply to that show.
No, that just has to do with this year's jury. Next year might be different.
Yeah, but this most of them that show was the same people. I really saw anybody new, but I'm not saying they're not bad or good. Are you saying
Mhm.
It's that core people. And then the plaza tends to be a little bit different also. So, but I don't know if I want to do the plaza because I'm going to tell you, I just find out that I really hate loud noises.
Yeah,
I start to
me too.
so, but the from the thing that I talked to Larry and other people, they want to see just 3 walls. Then I want to do the French wall in the front.
Oh,
Well, the French wall in the front blocks like a third of the interior of your booth.
Yeah, and but then you, like a Bonnie said, like she doesn't like that because she likes the one with the frame books. It looks different from everybody else. Everybody else got the same cookie cutter. And when I go to the show, I'm going to have my French wall. So I don't know if that's going to be a problem also, you know. So there's a lot of things that I've been reading and looking around and paying more attention, because the jury fees doesn't sound like it's a lot of money, but it was a lot of money for me. So doesn't match what I spend in printing medals, but it's it was this high number, I have to tell you.
just blurt it out.
I'm going to my accounting program because I don't know the top of my head.
I wasn't talking to you, Oscar. Somebody raised their
Oh.
hand, but they didn't
It was
speak.
me.
Go ahead, speak.
I'm doing the mock jury next weekend, but I wanted to get your opinion on my jury shot now, because you guys are different than the mock jury. Would you be, no, you don't want to do it?
What's your name?
No.
What's your name?
What? Emily.
Oh,
Emily.
Oh,
It's-
why does it say resolution
Eats.
eats?
Oh,
Because
that's
that's
my
a-
blog.
That's her real name.
It's my real name.
Emily, I wanted to talk to you about the mock jury presentation. I have 2 presentations in there for you,
Oh, okay.
which send me back
Don't tell
one
us
that
this.
you actually want to use so I can delete the other one.
Don't
Okay.
tell us this.
Okay, sorry. We're done talking.
No, I mean I could put your presentation up right
That's
now
true.
for Barry.
No, no.
No.
I
Barry
want it
doesn't-
fresh.
Yeah. That makes
Yeah,
a lot of sense.
She was supposed to do a new booth picture in time for the mock jury, but
Yeah, but I can't do it till October because Larry's gonna shoot my booth picture. So it's gonna look
Oh.
good.
what if you set it up at home?
Me? Oh no, I'm not. That's no.
That's a pain in the ass.
Then I'm gonna take a bad booth picture and it will be all for nothing.
Well, no,
I'm gonna wait.
I could come over there. You don't live that far from me. You live in Point Breeze, right?
Yeah, I live in Point Breeze.
Yeah, just on the other side of the Highland
My
Park
husband
Bridge.
is busy until. Sorry, my husband's busy till October, so
Okay.
he can't. I'm going to help. So, but it's not that long. So I'll just use my old shot and get the notes, and then you'll take a good picture, and that'll be good.
Okay.
So Larry, I know you have all my stuff without me sending it to you, but I want specific images in the thing
Yeah,
because I
so
want to see the reaction.
send them to me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's easy.
All right. Yeah,
You
it's
don't
real
have to
easy.
send me your booth. I have your last booth picture.
Okay. On grass, right? Oh, the one where that you removed
Yeah,
you moved the star.
Starbucks cup.
Yeah. That and the name thing on the wall. And
Right.
also you closed my back for me. You added the because it was open and there was a chair there and you were, you miraculously cleaned up my my booth.
See, that's what happens when you take your picture at a show. Shit
I
happens.
guess. Shit does happen.
I had a tree
I
in
like
the way
the
of my.
Starbucks cup though. That was kind of funny.
See, now you could make Starbucks cups.
Yeah, but I couldn't show them at St. Louis because I didn't have it in my images. And that's what I wanted to say. the difference is I could have my work, but you know, I couldn't have functional work along with it. That they say, well, this you didn't jury in with this, so you can't have this there. On the other hand, there's plenty of shows where I could actually do that and nobody would even notice. So
Right. And
Mm.
actually, you could say all your work is functional.
I do. I say it's visually functional.
Right.
But that's the problem that I see with that the person that goes with the clipboard, how qualified to tell
So
that what they see is what it's going to
guy
represent.
has
That you-
monopolized a lot of it.
What?
So that's the thing that because the person that goes to the clipboard or the iPad doesn't necessarily knows what they're seeing. They're just looking to see if it match or not. And then go to ask question. The next thing you know, you got somebody asking 20 questions about the situation and making the situation really light or really upsetting.
I understand it.
It's difficult.
So
What are they talking about?
that's
Thanks, guys.
Okay, bring plenty of Kleenex next week.
Me?
Yeah. Okay, I'm just teasing you. I'm not serious. You know, I just
Be critique she's sentence.
Emily, just to let you know, Barry doesn't like
Next
anybody's
week,
work.
she sent work in.
Where did Emily go?
she
She
had
said
to
you're
leave.
fine.
She said goodbye.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
That's where we are.
Do you know that last week, just to let you know, even if you don't have your band is not brand new, I would strongly suggest to have full cover because the little wind that they used to break into my band, it was this $581.31 to repair the stupid window.
They don't
And
have
the
to break
windows
my
are-
window. I can't lock the doors.
that's the advantage of
So-
an old van. That and
Wow.
I'm gonna try and get one before I take off for my East Coast trip.
you're gonna have somebody buy it for you?
No.
Actually, with the automakers going out on strike, you better buy it fast.
Yeah, there's always something, you know, it bothers it just drives me crazy.
They have some. I was passing through some dealers and they have a bunch of them out. So
Yeah, but
Ford
the prices are gonna go up once the supply chain drops.
We'll see.
which is great because then I can sell my band for more money.
Right, but then what are you gonna do?
I buy the one that I really like.
Yeah.
Oh no, I like my band.
Right there.
I really like my band.
So
Oh,
Margie,
good.
why don't you talk to us?
Um,
I cannot hear
No,
you.
now she's muted.
She muted herself.
unmute.
No, now
there
you're
you
good.
go.
There you go.
You were just speechless.
It's been interesting listening. We don't use Venmo or the new app from the banks. We pretty much just use charge cards, and because we do shows live, we really don't do much business from home. So, and our website is not really interactive, so because our pieces are mainly one of a kind, and it's difficult to have something on a website and then go to a show and worry that somebody's going to buy a particular piece while
Yeah,
it might have
Yeah.
been sold.
I always preferred just a phone number on the website. If people are interested, let them call,
Yeah.
and then you have a chance to upsell.
Mhm.
Or talk them into the piece, or show
Yeah.
them the excitement, or whatever you have to do. You know.
If you
Yeah.
have if your website is on Squarespace or Weebly or Wix, you could turn off e-commerce for the duration of the show. And then turn it back on when the show is over.
Well, that's interesting. Didn't know that.
And it's very easy on those platforms to say, have some work that's for sale all the time and other work that just disappears for the duration of the show, and then you put it back after the show. So if you've got work that you're not bringing, you could leave that on the site for sale and ship it if somebody buys it when you get home, you can ship it. Whereas the stuff that you're taking, you just make unavailable for the duration of the show. And then you remove anything you've sold when you get home and put the rest back up. So it's really a few clicks in those platforms.
Thank you.
That's interesting.
Yes, it's helpful.
Yeah, and Frank will be glad to click them for you.
I've been teaching people how to build websites on the platforms, so I'm used to it. I know these tricks.
I
Is
think
that
it's,
Square, the Square Market site?
Oh, cool.
I'm sorry, was that a question to me?
No, to Frank,
Oh,
because he said Weebly site, and they were bought by Square.
Right, but you can it'll work in Square too.
Oh, okay.
The e-commerce function is now shared.
Oh,
That's why they were able to put all your work on the Square Up site, was because the e-commerce, the listing of work wasn't deleted when the website was, Katie.
okay.
And so the rules for making things available and unavailable are similar. I'm not sure on Square Up how you could disconnect a page as easily as you could on Weebly. Because on Weebly, you just click a button and the page disappears from the navigation and nobody can get to it. I don't, I haven't worked after I did help you, I haven't been on Square Up, so I don't know it as well.
I think you'd have to go through and like click each thing individually to put it as unavailable.
I think you could probably make pages unavailable in Square Up. You could just say, okay, this collection's going with me, and just pull it out of the navigation and then push it back in the navigation when the show is over.
So I got a question to be practical about something that happened this weekend for the first time. So I offer gift cards on my website. So the lady bought 2 gift cards. I got the money for the gift cards, but I put the money in the reserve because she has not placed an order yet for the piece. So that's the right way to do it, business wise. So it's kind of.
I don't think it matters.
I don't think it matters legally. I think it's prudent of you to do that, but
it's prudent.
In case she doesn't find anything and she wants the money back.
But
No,
if you buy a Walmart card and you lose it, you've lost the money. Walmart's keeping that money. They're not keeping it where they can't get at it. So I think, you might want to talk to a lawyer about it, Oscar, but I think you probably are okay if you just put the money in the bank account and don't worry about it.
Yeah, you're okay as long as you.
No, it's a regular collector, but I just go in, like I put the money in my reserve. I don't put it in the cash in, cash out account. It's
well,
like
if you bought a gift card, they might actually be a gift that you might actually give the card to somebody.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like whenever I see the order coming in, then I will put the money to the side. That's what the same thing I do when somebody tells me, "Can you ship the print in a month from now?" So I put the money that cost the print in the reserve.
Yeah.
So I don't touch the money until it's time to use it.
How much,
I know I have the money,
how much are your gift cards?
$100 each. You know, they can put any amount that they want, but I think they cannot go above $100.
Really?
You have to, you know, but that's something that it's the first time I ever happened. The website always, you know, the website has paid off by itself this year quite a bit. So I have no complaints whatsoever about the website right now. But
Glad to hear it.
What?
I'm glad to hear it, Oscar.
Yeah, it's paying off, to be honest with you. It's the first few years it was like I didn't even know why I have it, but it's doing pretty good.
Well, there's a lesson
Yeah.
in that. You know, sometimes it just takes time.
Yeah. It's not that much money, but this year 11, let me add it up kind of quick. But it's not a lot of money when you think about it. But
There's probably a lot of less work that goes into that money, though, than the money you get selling at shows.
yeah, there's almost $4,000 this year just from the website.
Well, that's
which is,
bad. That's nice.
You know, which I can say that's a show easily. And some of that money came from others doing some shows, you know. So it's good to have it and be able to sell stuff from there. You know, and every year I'm hitting that. The last 2 years, last year I did the same amount of money, a little bit more. Actually, I did more last year. But it's starting happening. 2020, I have 2 sales. 21, I have 3 sales. 22, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sales. And this year I already have 7. So every year is picking up so far. So I'm, you know, and that doesn't count the people that from the installation that coming from the website.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure I'm doing better than what I think.
Right.
Well, guys, just so you ever have to put a hitch in your van, do not go to U-Haul. It's more. I talked to the different mechanics. They told me that's a idea because it's way too cheap. And what they're going to do is probably just put it in top of your bumper or something like that. But I don't know for sure. And I know which hitch they're putting in mind because I recognize the brand. But it's still going to cost me $800. But it's done by them. So I don't have to stress out about pulling the trailer and leaving in the middle of the highway. So,
it sure costs a lot of money for upkeep for your van.
You know, it's just that because I bought the camper for the Florida trip for
No,
when I'm down there. You know, and that's one thing. The thing with the window, and somebody decided to break it, you know, I was pissed off to another level when that happened because I just going like but you know, the problem with the new bands, and I don't know if it's the labors went so up, but I got friends that they just did a regular maintenance band and it was $5,000. And another friend that has an 04 just told me she had to fix something in the van, and that was another $3,000. In the last 2 years, she had to put $18,000 in the van. So I don't know what's going on, but everything is super expensive. But then again, you know, I put almost 40,000 miles every year in the van. So that's more than what a normal person drives, 12,000. So I'm putting in 1 year what a person drives in 4. So.
Well, I will see you all next week.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm
Next
leaving
week
too.
is the mock jury. Frank,
Hmm?
next week is the mock jury.
I'm aware.
Okay. Yeah, everybody's gonna have to be muted except for the big mouth.
Who's that? Who, me?
I think you should mute Barry next week.
I'm
just
not
like
going to say a
Camille.
word.
Yeah.
The mock juries were very educational for me. I enjoyed them,
I didn't think
even
I
though they
spoke
have
too
no
much.
immediate value, personal value to me directly.
No, it's something that you could recommend to your clients.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't speak too much.
No, I was
during
just
my
kidding.
jury.
Barry,
I
you
get
know
that
we love to
reputation.
tease you.
That's because of all the years where I teased everybody. It's like, you know, it's like
Yes.
I'm getting it's all coming back to me. Oh well. It's still fun. It's fun. It means you love me. So, you know, because if you
I wouldn't
didn't,
go
you,
that far.
I know. Wrong choice of words, you know. But
we
like
care
me.
about you, Barry.
That's right. That's better. Yes.
That's the better
Well,
way
you
to
know,
say.
if you're gonna give me a layup, I'm gonna hit it.
That's fine. That's great. It's all right.
So long, everybody.
All
All
right.
right.
Bye,
See
Frank.
you guys.
See you,
Bye.
Frank. Yeah. I'm gonna go. I gotta go too. You
Oh,
know,
it's-
What?
I have one more firing to do. And you know, I could have just stayed and done that, but I said, oh no, I have to come back for the for our Zoom meeting. So it's tomorrow morning. I'll finish it up. What I was doing.
Look forward to the Zoom meeting every week.
Sometimes.
It's your chance to vent.
Yeah. I didn't even discuss the real, you know, there was an issue. If anybody was on art fair review this week, when I posted like, you know, the marijuana booth at
Yeah.
you know, there was
Arts
one
Pizza and
person,
Eats.
there was one person who was just a total, well, I didn't want to say anything. It was obvious. That show sucked. I think we're gonna have I love the marijuana booth. We're gonna have the marijuana booth.
I thought I had a good response to that.
You know, I'm going to say I'm always curious, but I don't miss the drama.
Yeah. Right. Right.
I don't have, you know, I miss it, but you know, I think I'm much better. No stress out. Don't worry about it. Life is good. So, you know, now that everybody's gone,
Except for elders.
so yeah, I went to get yesterday the injection for my neck. First time in a long time that I don't feel pain in my shoulders.
Oh, that's great.
You know, it was, you know, now that before I can take 4 times, I leave, I leave, whatever, and I was still feeling pain. Now I can take 1 or 2 and the pain is totally gone. So, so that means progress. But the most funny thing happened is they put you in this bed facing down, your legs are up a little bit, you basically like in a huge, like this shape, like a smiling face.
Yeah.
And they put your hands have to be in your hip under your body. And the doctor walks in there and she started talking how she broke her foot on Thursday, that she was not feeling so well, that the husband was saying to her that she should not go to work, that she just take the entire week off. And I just listened to all these things and I'm going like, I should have said, should we be doing this today?
Send her a bill for psychological
damage.
confrontation.
Oh my God. It was interesting because the nurse comes back inside and they just tell her like, so who brought your food? And then, oh, that was the doctor. So like, you guys decided to making me feel uncomfortable with that conversation. But it was funny.
You could have walked in eating a sandwich or something and told you her life story.
Oh my goodness. But it was
that
it was
injection,
interesting.
isn't that called a trigger injection?
It's a similar trigger, but I'm going to tell you, is she put the local anesthesia first, and that is a pinch and burn.
Yeah.
And then after that, the only thing you feel is pressure.
Because I had something similar when I pulled muscles in my neck, taking the racks off the roof of my van.
Mm.
And the next morning I couldn't walk. I had to beg pain pills from all the artists at the show I was at. And I finally found somebody that gave me some Percocets, and it gave me enough to make it through the show and get home.
And
that's pretty strong stuff.
No, but when you get that, when you hurt that area, Barry, I was telling you, you can take eight is a strain tunnel, and you can still feel the pain.
My neck painful right here is hurt for years and years and years. And especially if I go out and fire pots and come back in and then go to sleep and wake up in the morning, I am really stiff. It really, that's when it really hurts.
You have to get a firm pillow. That's what
I have a firm pillow. I have all that, It's from throwing pots and you lean one way. So after years and years of leaning and doing it, it's very stressful.
You can do this, go like this in your neck and rotate them, and then push out.
Yeah.
Little by little.
Well,
and it helps.
Yes, Dr. Oscar. Hey, Oscar, I applied to New Smyrna Beach.
Oh my goodness. Now you're going to get in and I'm going to be doing Patty's show.
You're not going? You're not doing it?
I don't know if I get, let's see if I get in, That show is a hit or miss with me. I get in one year, don't get in the next. Yep.
She sent me a note thanking me for applying.
They have really, they get the awards that they give are pretty good. So you get like those people the award money.
Yeah, so, I liked it.
So we'll see what happens. The other thing that I was laughing about this week was I see Facebook brings the pictures of the 9 years ago from my booth. And then then you see the other 5 years ago. Then you see the one of 2 years ago, and you go like, "Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. That's what it used to be my booth." Damn.
Yeah.
How did the hell I got into shows? And even right now, when I go back to shows that I didn't get in, and I see the application, and I go, I will not get myself into the show with the application. So I really need to pay more attention what I'm doing. So that's all.
Oh.
Well, I'm going to let you go to see if I can make a quick run to this place. Be good, guys. See you next week.
Yeah, I'm going to go too. I'll see you guys.
See ya.